I think we made it right on time, guys.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna type in the text today. Look at that. There we go. What's up, Brian, Sharon, Mark, Gillette, everybody? Everybody's here. Gave my 40 a new tattoo tonight. Okay. I hope he was cooperative.
Hmm. Excuse me.
Yep, Jack. I think we're here. I'm hoping we're here. If we ain't here, I got some technical issues somewhere.
Never.
But yeah, hey, I get the day off tomorrow. How cool is that?
Yeah,
That's right.
that's good.
Well, my mic sits right behind my keyboard, so if I type, y'all guys are gonna know it. There's no way of me hiding that. No way to hide it. So what's everybody been up to? What have you been up to, Steve? I know you spent a day out today and went in the shop, but have you done anything interesting in the shop today or this week? I guess I should say.
Well, let's see. This week. Yeah, I've been making progress on a few things. I did launch the what is it, the ACMR,
Yeah,
the
whichever you
33
want to call
watt.
it.
Got that video out on that machine, which was fun, and that's definitely. I mean, like your video stated as well. It's a pretty hot machine. Has some pretty decent features. A couple things I'd like to see different on it, but so we did that. And as I mentioned last week, I think I mentioned last week the Niji Max 3 V2.
Yeah.
Um, so that came in recently, and that only, like I told you, it was what two trips to the hardware store. Um,
I told you that was a tinkerer's paradise. You didn't
yeah.
believe me.
Oh no, I believed you. I just
Let me grab a
uh,
water.
I didn't think it was. Well, I should have read the manual a little more closely and looked at what I needed. So the first one was I needed to pick up a sheet of MDF to mount it on because of their cable chain stuff. But then the second trip was because of I wanted to use shop air on it and needed to get the right adapters and such to plug into the compressor. So not necessarily things that were missing from the kit, short of the MDF. I needed something to put that on. Um, but yeah, I got that put together. I haven't been able to do much testing with it because it's uh, it's the wide model, so it's got like a 31 inch wide cutting area,
Yeah.
and so I don't have an enclosure that it fits in currently. And we're under another heat advisory up here, so I didn't want to open up the workshop, let what precious cool air I have in there out uh, to smoke it up. So um, weather's supposed to turn back to a little more temperate. I think Tuesday, unfortunately, after the long weekend. But I'll be able to do some testing on that one this next week, as well as I was working on a couple of 3D carve type setups that I want to run on the Genmitsu CNC to kind of wrap up that initial review as well. So kind of bouncing between the two machines, doing some playing on some projects and video stuff. So unfortunately, not finishing either one, but
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's been busy over here too. Welcome there, Gordon from the Panhandle of Nebraska. I actually found out a little known fact about that. Why they have that Panhandle the other day. Uh, and Mr. Keith Boardley, forget me not. Hello, welcome. Rob. My bad. I put the D. Dyslexia kicked in. Jack, yeah, that would do it. And with that 100 watt you've got, you should be able to do that pretty effectively. Victor, it went real well. It was their first live for Rustic Relics, and so they were a little nervous. But I saw them in church this morning. They said everything went well, and she was pleased with the turnout. So that was good. No, Brian, it's water. Uh, so it's not it's non-alcoholic water.
so I like to drink iced tea in the summer, especially. And of course, being the northern boy I am, it's unsweetened, just straight, iced tea. And it's funny if I'm on the road, I'll buy these. I forget the brand, whatever, but they come in like a big quart plastic container, and it's square, and of course it has that kind of nice brown caramel color to it. And I'll go out to my flying field, and people are like, "Wait a minute, what are you swigging there?" I'm like, "I'm not gonna get drunk and fly airplanes." So I've been
Yeah.
accused of. And I'm like, seriously, who? I mean, I don't want to know the person that would just chug that much brown alcoholic liquid.
I know people.
I know people too, but
But no, well, forget me not. You are too kind. I don't know about awesome. I like to think I'm okay. But anytime, I feel pretty confident I can speak for Steve as well when I say that we enjoy what we do. We enjoy interacting with you guys, trying out gear, figuring out what works and what doesn't, and making videos, and then of course hanging out on Sundays. It's fun. Uh,
yeah,
yeah, br-
if it wasn't fun, I wouldn't be doing this because I've already got a full time job. This is fun and
yeah,
hobby, and yeah,
yeah. Well, let's see who said that. Brian, first of all, YouTube would frown upon it, so I try to keep that to a minimum. I'm not that I don't partake of an alcoholic beverage from time to time, but I've been trying to recover my back, and so one of my approaches is to overhydrate in an attempt to like help it heal faster. So we're gonna see if that works, but so far it's doing a lot better. So hopefully I'm on to something. I really don't want to get worked on. So, yeah. But now, I can't drink unsweet tea. I'm from the South. I do still currently have all my teeth, but we like sugar and everything.
yes, you do.
So, but I think about the Lego movie singing, everything is awesome. I really didn't know there was a Lego movie. I don't watch
What? Oh,
TV or
come
news. I
on.
don't watch TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch news. I either watch YouTube or I work. That's all. I mean, y'all have all asked me how in the world I do everything that I do. It's because I don't watch TV. I don't watch football. I don't watch baseball. I don't watch basketball. I don't watch hockey. I don't dang sure don't watch the news. I don't watch nothing. If it don't come across emergency broadcast, I don't know about it. So I'm serious. If it's not an Amber Alert, I'm not finding out about it.
Yes,
I
well,
just don't, man. I went through, doing what I do. I got enough negativity in my life on a day to day basis doing what I do than to have to come home and watch all the drama and stuff that goes on around the world. I just don't care to watch it. I would rather be out here in my happy place doing my happy stuff. So that's my soapbox for today. Yeah, see, Mark agrees with me. Tea was meant to be sweet. That's
well, okay, but we could just scroll right up to Victor saying unsweetened tea is the best. So we're back at the zero. So
we're gonna have to.
hey,
We'll have to start a vote. We'll put a vote on in the laser engraver community, and we'll see whether sweet or unsweet rules the day. Forget me not.
no,
No, I don't have the. I don't have the flipping legs to test for a jig kit, and I don't like making kits I can't test. So sorry about that.
Jeff, I'm a Minnesota sports fan. I I just live with disappointment. So is that negative? Is it positive? I don't know.
Now I
But I
did
don't go
go.
out of my way to watch it.
Now I did go to the ball game for my high school, my daughter's high school, which is my old high school. I did go to their football game Friday night. Now I mostly watched the band because that's where my daughter is. Do you have to go jump on Steve's soapbox?
I, I think
Seriously?
that settles it, right? I mean, that's end all be
Yeah,
all. We're
yeah.
debate's over.
She sets me up with that every time we go to a restaurant. She always orders unsweet, and it never fails. They put it in front of me, and I take a big swig of it, and it's just like, ugh. But yeah. But I
All
did go
right.
to the ball game Friday night, which was I guess last night, and because I'm in charge of pulling the trailer that all the band equipment's in, so I kind of got to go. And but it was raining, man. It was terrible. It rained most of the time. And I found out that my new shoes that I got, these Brooks, they're not good for wading. They're not waterproof at all. So just FYI.
All right, I don't know if it's just me or everybody, but you kind of turned into Mr. Roboto there with your audio.
Don't know unless my Wi-Fi is trying to connect, but I don't know why it would. My computer may need a good cleaning. It gets dusty a lot. Is it back to normal now?
No, I'm still getting weirdness. It could be.
Anybody? Am I sounding okay, Brandy?
Brian says it's just me, so maybe it's my headphones. Hold on.
Okay. Whew, scared me. I can't spend any more money. My air compressor died about 3 o'clock today. I had to go buy a cheap little pancake air compressor to get me by. We'll see. We'll see how it holds up. So far, it's doing pretty good. It's 150 psi. Okay, all right. We have decided it's on Steve's end. Thankfully. Anyway, anybody got any? Let me get that comment out from down there. There we go. It's taking Steve's side. That's like grounds for, like, I don't know, a fight, isn't it? Yeah, I've been looking at those, Brian. I had a big one. Like, the one that was outside was one of the old twin compressor ones. But, like, I mean, it was big, way bigger than what I need nowadays. I bought it back when I was running pneumatic power tools and sandblasters and stuff like that. So I'm probably going to downsize. But right now, I went to Tractor Supply to see what they had because my air assist was down. And I can't go, like, I got 10 stove covers I got to make tomorrow. So I can't go without air. And so I went and they had a special going where they had a little pancake compressor, 150 psi, 6 gallon for like $99. So I was like, okay, it's worth it because I can get those stove covers done and it'll pay for that little compressor if I have to out of the money I make off of those. So I went ahead and grabbed that guy just to get me by until I can decide what I want to permanently replace it with. I asked one, bought 20. Huh? Yeah, I can't keep up with the comments, guys. I'm sorry. If we don't answer you, just keep spamming. All right, because I sometimes if I'm not looking at those comments, you get buried quick.
All right, I went to the backup headphones. I should be good now.
Okay, do I sound okay?
Well, you sound normal.
That's just wrong. Oh, wait a minute. There's somebody asking us one. You got any guesses on that one? You don't have a 40-watt D1 either, do you?
I don't have the 40-watt D1. The closest I've got is the IKEA. That's a 48-watt, but I have not done any tumblers on it yet.
Well, if it's anything like an ASMR 33-watt, you're going to have to crank the speed up because this thing rips stainless. Like I'm marking stainless with this ASMR at 40 millimeters a second. So you're probably going to have to run them up there pretty high, I would imagine, with a 40 because 33's staining it all the way up to 40 millimeters a second. So. Brian, yeah, I was fixing to say, I usually just get whatever I need. I'll sell enough stuff to pay for it, hopefully. If I don't, then whatever. Let's see, easy. Kintalk. I thought I had one for the Kintalk. I'd have to go look, but I may have one. I may just not have put it in my. I know I got one. Let me look, see if I got one in my folder. That wasn't a very popular machine, so I didn't put some of the machines. I didn't put them out there. So let me see if I got one for it. Yeah, Kintalk Tool LE 400 Pro. Yeah, I do have one. I do have it. I just never put it on Etsy. Who was needing a Kintot tool? Well, let me see here. I'm pretty sure this one works. I'd have to go back and look at it, but if not, I can modify it. But I'll get back with you. I got some other files I got to work on. Oh, but I'll have to make sure that that one's intact. I tried my 8-gallon compressor, but it's running too often for my life. Yeah, this one runs a lot, but now I'm only using like, I don't know, 10 psi to the regulator. But I've been tuning this ASMR, and it actually cuts really good with a lot less air. So I've dialed it back some. It's not doing too bad, Super Duty. It's keeping up. I mean, it's probably not healthy for it, but like I said, it's a $99 compressor. Oh, if it'll hang in there and make me a couple $1,000s, then it can go to sleep. I won't care at that point. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up. God, all these comments. We see we need to get Brandy. You need to start like logging in where you can like pin comments for us. Yeah, a 10 watt for doing cutting boards. That's what me and Steve both started out. Well, you may have started out with something smaller, but that's what as far as my business, that's what I started out with was a 10 watt. Does a good job.
Well, technically, I started out with something a lot bigger.
Well, it's about diodes as far as diodes goes.
Yeah, no, the X-Tool 10 watt was my first diode laser. Still have it.
Oh, hang on. This is kind of a long question. Ah, it's covering me up.
Oh, here. There you go.
No, we're good. We're good. You swap that back. I'm just gonna peek out from around the corner. The rest of the area, instead of over the across. Okay, I think what you're looking for is if they're all on the same layer. I'm gonna turn that off. If you put multiple images in there and they're all on the same layer, you've probably got it set to either do them individually or do groups together. But you can always go in and set it to do all shapes at the same time. But that only works if they're on the same layer. So they would have to be like the same color, as far as power settings and stuff go.
Well, but if he's using an image and a typical like vector engraving, I don't know that
it's not going to
combine
do them at the
those.
same time.
It's
not going.
It's going to do those separately.
When you put an image in there, it automatically creates a custom power box for it.
Yeah, you'd have to use like Photoshop or something, bring in your other blocks or whatever, or your text, make that as part of the image and do it that way. But then you might not have the same clarity in those that you want or that you're getting as a vector engraved. So
yeah. But yeah, on an image, I think about that. On an image, it's going to lock it down to its own specific settings. All right, who was that said I had a question that we didn't get to? Because I still can't find
I think
it.
that was RW, the one we just did.
Okay, cool.
Okay. 10 minus 9, do you want our opinion or our legalistic lawyer answer?
Because there is a difference.
Do what you feel is right. And, always keep your safety and protection in mind. But if you have your enclosure set up and it has, properly filtering glass on there, that's pretty much the same thing as the shroud or same thing as your eyes. It's that layer of protection. Now, is it still good to wear your glasses? Sure. It's an extra layer of protection. Could something bounce around, outside your enclosure somehow because you have an opening? Sure. You're never going to hurt yourself wearing the glasses, but they can get annoying and they can restrict your vision a little bit as well. I would say as long as you have some sort of filtering protection there that you have some confidence in, some of those, and I've said this in some of my reviews, some of those fabric enclosures, they've got like a tinted window, flexible window on them that really don't do anything to filter that light. So I wouldn't trust one of those. But if you've bought like the JTech Photonics stuff that's rated for lasers, it's going to be doing a pretty decent job. And also remember that, these are rated to take kind of the focused in point of it. Hopefully you're just getting kind of reflections and refractions. They're defocused and such. So it's minimal, but it's still a concern to take. But again, if you really truly want to be protected, wear your glasses, even when that enclosure is going.
Well, I will speak from experience on this. I most of the time wear these anytime the laser is running. Reason being, just like anything else, sometimes you get distracted, you get busy, something happens inside the enclosure, material flies up and it binds the machine or something, and if you don't have your glasses on, you'll forget and snatch that lid open. And it's happened to me before, especially with like some of the thin materials and leather. And that's one reason why I do not like the machines with the long covers, is because I have a lot more material collisions with those flat surfaces. But same as Steve. I mean, the more layers of protection, the better. Is it absolutely necessary if you've got laser safe glass? Probably not. But in the event that you open it inadvertently or forget to do something and you snatch that lid open, if you don't have them on, there's that risk. So yeah, risk mitigation is what it's all about. And so yeah, two layers of protection is definitely better than just one. Because that way, if whoever tested the material, if it was a piece that got tested on a Friday and they just like pushed it through, then it won't matter with you. But yeah, I do the same thing. I have a camera that's inside my enclosure, which is this guy. And so when I'm over here designing files or whatever, I can pull that camera up on my computer and see what's going on inside this enclosure. And I've got a video, and I think Steve's got one too. There's another camera that me and him both are testing that's like a Wi-Fi camera, which is it's pretty neat. I think they overcomplicated the thing, but it works pretty well as far as being able to stream it. Yeah, but I've got that same camera, and so remote viewing is always safe because you can't get your eyes put out by a laser through a camera. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I even took and put some yellow film over mine. Yeah, that little guy's actually pretty cool for remote viewing, but all the other functions I think are. I don't think I'm using it for those.
I haven't hooked it up to a laser yet. So the cool thing about this one is it's supposed to be able to allow you to remotely control it. I have mixed feelings about that. But yeah, the time lapse feature on this thing and remote viewing does look very cool. So,
I hadn't played with the time lapse. I'll have to try that.
Yeah, I haven't done a whole lot with it. But it's got some cool features to where you can adjust like the length and the time, and it can even like do an overlay so that it doesn't have the blurry head in there. It'll just park the head in the corner in the image, and it'll just show the progress of the engraved. So I mean, from a production and showing your work kind of stuff, that's kind of cool. But
well, see, I was actually thinking about repurposing it, putting it on my 3D printer in the house, because a lot of time I'm printing while I'm out here, and so I was going to set it up to just do remote viewing there.
Well, this brand has their Beagle camera that's purposely for 3D printers, so you might want to check into that.
I'll have to look at it and see. Which I may get a Sonic pad. If I get a Sonic pad, I can just put a board cam in there, Raspberry camera. But anyway, we'll see. Well, hello, Chris. We sleep late today. Yeah. Well.
So,
go ahead.
I'm curious, Jack. He was talking about laser everything live and having a beam bounce. Were they using a CO2? Because that's one thing with CO2s, and I've had this troubleshooting my own as well as a friend's. You got those mirrors, and it's an unfocused beam, but that unfocused beam on those 60 and on up watt lasers can still do a lot of damage. They can burn you. They can put holes in your wall and such. So. I that definitely, I have a whole nother level of respect for CO2 lasers and the beams at that point. So,
Uh, oh, Jack's talking about he asked them, I guess, whether it was a
Yeah.
CO2. I thought he was talking about us. I was going to say, Jack, he's talking about your comment now. Yeah, Brian, I've heard some stuff about the Sonic Pad, and I'm looking at getting a Sonic Pad and the direct drive uh, extruder to put on mine because I bought an enclosure, but I can't zip it up because if I do, the PLA gets too soft and it starts kinking right there at the extruder. So I want one of the direct drives so it doesn't have that angle going into the extruder motor.
So Ed, I don't have the Max 4. I'm just playing with the Max 3 V2. But from what I can tell, if the Max 4 is using the same type of driver and steppers, I would believe the Ortour roller would work. It comes with a couple of adapters. It really just comes down to the pinout of the stepper and making sure you got the right rotation. So I would imagine that yes, it can work. You just might need to get it the right adapter cable for the stepper pinouts. So can't confirm it, but I would imagine from what I can see on the 3, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, Daniel said he got his massive enclosure finished, but he's having to upgrade his camera, his fan. I can see
I
that.
imagine, yeah,
I'm
you got to move a lot of air through a bigger enclosure to.
Well, I'm fixing to have to upgrade to a 6-inch over here in Enclosure Zilla. The 35 watt is just generating way more smoke than that 4-inch can handle. So I'm going to take the 4-inch, since this enclosure is a little smaller, and I'm probably just going to move it over here and do away with the shop vac so it'll be a little quieter. I'm going to see if I can choke that 4 down to get it to get a little more suction and evacuate the smaller enclosure. But we'll see because this 33 watt generates a lot of smoke too.
Yeah, I'm running 6-inch fans both out in the outdoor shop as well down here, and I appreciate them over the 4-inch ones.
Yeah. There we go. There's somebody's asking something. Armory. 10-watt Congro air system. What are you trying to do? That's stick with engraving because the 10-watt Comgrow does a really really good job of engraving. Cutting you can cut, but you may want to stay in the 1/8 range if you're going to be doing a lot of it. Because I can remember having to do 4 passes with my 10 watts, and that used to take forever.
I mean, I think unless you can do a lot with like basswood, um, you can get 1/4-inch basswood at a lot of craft stores and such, and I think it'll have okay work with that. But yeah, definitely the 1/8-inch material that machine is fine on. Um, their air assist. I don't now see. Mine was an earlier machine, and yours was too. They had an aftermarket air assist, but I think some of the newer ones it was modified a little bit. Because you had that tip running the hose up the back of the bracket as well, so
Mm,
rotating it so that that hose was out
yeah,
of the way.
because it would slam the rail if you didn't rotate it.
Yeah. So depending on how that one's set up, there's a couple tips I know, like in your video and maybe mine, about just your general setup. But a lot of that is just to get some material that you're gonna play around with and dial in your settings, do some speed tests and power tests, and start playing.
Yeah, that's a good machine. Yeah, I think me and Steve both. If you go to our channels and just search for Comgrow or Z1, you should find some videos of that machine. But yeah, there's a couple things that you can do to tweak that machine because y'all know I like to improve upon folks' design. Uh, da, 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 da. Yeah, Brian. So far, I haven't had too much trouble since as long as I leave my enclosure unzipped on the 3D printer. It was just that first day when I got the enclosure, I wanted to like zip it up, and it got hot in there, and that PLA just did not like it getting that hot inside that enclosure. So I've just started leaving the door open. It's working fine now. I haven't had any more filament hangups since then. Well, hello, Joseph from Canada. It's one of your neighbors over there, Steve.
Canada's big.
Yeah, but he's closer to you than he is for me.
Sure.
Todd, the one thing I will tell you, because I messed up on mine, is make sure you don't put that darn aluminum linkage for that timing cable too close to that stepper. Leave yourself a little bit of room. Other than that, mine's running great, but now it's because I had problems with where I had did that in the beginning. I literally went through this machine. I tensioned the belts. I dusted all the eccentric wheels, and everything on mine. I have went through and adjusted it. But if you didn't do that, if you do a couple of tests and it needs it, then do it. But it wasn't too bad out of the box. I will say, if you extend it, you kind of have to over tension the belts a little bit, it seems like, to get really good results. I guess because the belts are so much longer, it takes a little bit of extra tension for them to appear to be tight. But yeah, mine's doing a good job. It's not the overwhelming cutting ability that I'd hoped it would be compared to my P20, but it's a lot. It is faster. That was what I wanted. It does cut faster, and the engraving quality seems to be very similar to what I was getting out of the 20. So I'm happy with it. Laser and wax candles. Yeah, you could do it.
I mean, it definitely would work, but you'd be melting the wax and it would have to go somewhere because it's probably not going to necessarily vaporize. I'd be curious to see how that works out. That might be an interesting experiment.
Yeah, but if wax vaporizes inside your enclosure, you'd better be running air assist, because if not, it can collect on your lens and cause some problems. I would definitely run a little bit of. Well, if you run air assist though, that's going to make a mess. I just think I think I'd steer clear of wax in my enclosure. Somebody else try that. Steve, try that.
Well, get a longer lens on a CO2. That'll get it away from there.
Yeah.
Throw it in the K40 or the M40, whatever that is.
No, I only got one CO2. I can't tear it up. I haven't even heard of the Gwiki G2 20 watt. Have you, Steve?
There's so many places that are kind of coming out with their fiber lasers recently that it's kind of hard to keep up, and you got to wonder a little bit: are they that unique, or are they slightly modified and rebranded, rebadged, labeled, whatever?
Yeah. Just so y'all don't accuse me of anything else. This is some Walmart water. Yeah, I don't use a belt tension gauge. I kind of am my belt tension gauge, I guess you could say, but that doesn't work for everybody. Yes, I saw where somebody was engraving some soap. Soap, it's similar, I guess. Like I said, I wouldn't try to heat it up too much though. I would run really, really high speeds. No, Brian, I'm not that foresightful there.
This is here because I was doing a test on a laser. I swear.
Oh, caught him. Oh yeah, I got one of those too. It's in that little box right over there on the right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just realized I left my darn camera box out. Sorry guys, my OCD got the better out of me. My OCD does not allow me to leave that box over there. I'm afraid it's going to get dust in it and get all over my camera gear. I swapped out my light. The other one was having some issues and causing my video to flicker. But yeah, that's the one that came in that little care package you got with the, what did ASMR sent those? And that obnoxiously large block of acrylic?
Well, yeah, there was that, and there's that big, heavy plate of stainless steel.
Oh, this one?
That was obnoxiously large. No, there was an even bigger one, I thought.
It may be still in there. It may be still in there. I haven't opened it.
I can
Good
hide
Lord.
behind this one. It's like a 8-inch
How
thick.
thick is it?
It's like an
Yeah,
8-inch.
I haven't opened all the stuff. I've been running through it, doing a bunch of the tests. Uh, this thing stinks, by the way.
I did just the little keychain, and I don't know if this is pre-finished or not. It kind of looks like it might be, so that might be what you're getting at. But
Yeah, the cork smells. I wish I hadn't done it right before the live because now I can smell it every time I reach in there. Uh, ta- 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 ta.
so Joseph,
uh,
what kind of parts are you having trouble with? It's unfortunate if they won't ship them there, but there may be some aftermarket or third-party options for them. You know, if you're talking like belts and wheels and things like that. But
yeah, a lot of the parts I would think would be interchangeable, except for maybe like the bearings and those little metal wheels that they use. I don't know that I've seen anywhere else that has those, but you might. No, there's nothing wrong. I don't consider there to be anything wrong with partaking. YouTube frowns upon it, so I try not to just rub it in their face. You know what I mean? If I do decide to drink something. Yeah, I wish I could show y'all what this cork smells like. If you've ever done cork, you probably already know. But cork and leather are right up there. Like they're right there, as far as like not something you want to do in your living room.
there's not a lot of things I'd want to laser in my living room, quite honestly.
He's saying it's a limit switch.
Well, so yeah, Nextool uses
Those
those like
proximity switches
yeah,
or
the
whatever.
proximity and the inductive ones, so they're a little more specialized, unfortunately. But yeah, if you got someone in the U.S. that can ship them to you, especially things that are under like 10, 12 ounces, shipping to Canada is really not that bad. It's when you get over that one or close to that 1 pound, it automatically goes international, and they want to charge ridiculous rates. Um, 10 years ago, I used to be able to ship parts up to Canada sometimes cheaper than shipping locally, domestically in the U.S. But yeah, for smaller things. But
Yeah, he
yeah,
said he basically got it proxied up to him, so he's good
hmm
now.
and definitely
Which,
using the postal service over UPS or FedEx, because they sometimes do their whole own custom brokerage stuff and will charge you an arm and a leg versus the postal service and the Canada Post or whatever tends to just do their normal import. I've learned some lessons
yeah,
shipping internationally over the years. I try to be
see,
I try to be nice. I mean, like you say, there are neighbors. It's closer to me to go to Canada than to your place. So I try to be
yeah,
nice to them. Might need to run up there some year.
yeah. Rob said he made a mistake of burning leather in his dining room. I bet whew, Brandy would not be happy at all, at all. Oh, wait a
There
minute,
you go.
somebody over here.
So if you're using Lightburn, you can actually put in like a prompt when you start a job, and it can be like a checklist of sorts and such. And I think David's going to show us here. So
Yeah, if I can remember where it's at, I don't use it. I know. Okay, there it is. Nope, 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 nope. Crap. I can't remember where it's at. Is it under editor settings? Do you remember where it's at?
I
Or is it
no,
under the machine?
I
Give me a
just
second. I've run across it. I just don't know where it's at. I don't ever use it.
wow. I
Uh,
I should share this because I just hooked up I'm running off my laptop tonight instead of my normal computer, and I have
yeah.
my display, my 40-inch display as my second monitor. And wow, is the resolution weird on that with Lightburn? I can't even see half my menus right now.
Okay. Somebody that uses that, help me out because I swear it's somewhere. Is it in devices? Let's see.
Oh come on, I can't even.
No, it's not in devices. Give me just a second. I'm fixing to have to. I'm
So
going to
if
have
you
to
go
search
under,
this.
it should be under your device settings, and I think it's something like checklist or something in there. Seriously, I can't even
Well,
see mine right now.
that's what I thought. But let's see. I got G code, additional settings. No, I'm not seeing it. I thought it was in here. Did we lose it last update?
Mm, should so
See if somebody's dropped a comment in there, because some of these guys may know where it's at. I don't even use that. Device settings at the bottom
yeah,
says
yeah.
edit.
Device settings, lower right. There should be something there for you to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
good. Yeah, it was right.
I just
If it
can't.
was a snake, it would have bit me. I knew it was down there somewhere. But yeah, you have to turn this on right here where it says enable checklist, and then just go in here and edit. And basically, you can put close enclosure, air assist, exhaust on, whatever in there, and it'll pop up. I guess we could demonstrate that. Let me turn my machine on, make sure I got the right one, ASMR P2. So right here, we can type in exhaust. I hope I spelled that right. If I didn't, y'all are going to make fun of me. So now when I go in, and we'll just put a little tiny mark right here in the corner. That won't hurt nothing. All right, so now when I go into, let me frame home my machine before I send it. All right. Let me frame that up. Look at that thing. Man, that thing flies. All right, hang on. Let me do this. All right, here we go. Wait a minute. Y'all need to see the screen. All right, so I'm going to hit start. And you can see right there where it popped up exhaust. I probably should have put some question marks after that. But then you can hit yes, and the burn will start. So yes, you can create checklists. Watch this machine move, guys. Watch this thing. That thing's fast. So there we go. Let me turn that off. I will be well. Actually, I could leave it on because that would actually help me remember to turn my exhaust on. But yeah, I don't know why I didn't see that a while ago. I knew it was in device settings, but I did not go look at it properly. All right, there we go. I hope that answers your question, whoever was asking that. Yeah, see, if I put exhausted on there, I would think it was asking about my physical state. So, yeah. All right, questions, comments, concerns. If you hadn't already, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Steve loves my little banner right here. Aha! So, Steve, do you want to let Brian know what you've been working on getting set up on your computer?
Well, no.
Steve.
No, funny enough, I had my Stream Deck before David, but I just started using it again. So, I too can switch to different views of laser camera or my horrible view of, let's see, Lightburn that's all messed up right now.
Wow, you need some glasses to read that.
Yeah, like I say, it's on a 40-inch smart TV, and I can't do anything with that right now. I got to play with those settings. So.
Well, since you have your Stream Deck set up, I must say you deserve this. All right, somebody asked a question. I knew somebody was going to ask. I haven't got the video put out yet, but for those of you that haven't known, let me move this. Let me navigate my machine out here into the workspace where you can see it. I did a little modifications to the ASMR there. It took a metal cutting blade, my bandsaw, and the use of the fence to get it accurately cut without where it looks factory. But I got rid of that thing. I couldn't, after playing with this machine, I used it for a little while, and it is such a beast. y'all know that work area is normally like that's the determining factor for every machine I've ever used. But when I put this thing in here and went to cutting with it, I got it hooked up on Shop Air. It is such a machine. It's just a pure beast that I was like, okay, I got to use it, but I can't. I was trying to do some cutting boards with it, and I've got video of me trying to frame the darn thing with that shield on there. And from sitting here trying to frame a cutting board, I couldn't do it. I couldn't see the dot. So I got a little mad, and I may or may not have took the module apart and took the cover over to the bandsaw and chopped it off, and then put it back together. Sanded the edge. I sanded the edge down with some sandpaper and everything, and then took and touched up the paint job around the edges. I mean, you can't really tell it wasn't done that way at the factory, but it works much better now, and this machine is a beast. So, but I had to get that thing had to go. It was really messing me up. I was doing cutting boards, and it was just a mess.
I'm hoping they come out with some extended rails for that one, because I think that'll be an awesome machine with, get that length up there around 30 inches.
Yeah. But no, I don't. Like I said, I don't open my enclosures if the machine's not stopped. And then when I'm in here working, I wear these as my safety glasses. So if I'm building stove covers, I'm wearing these. So it slows me down and messes up more material trying to work without being able to see that blue dot than what it's worth. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't. I can't do it with them. But
so
yes, I have cameras in all my enclosures.
So I mean, depending on the cutouts, Mark, with the LED lamps, I've done something as simple as using like wax paper or rice paper that you can get fairly cheaply or inexpensively. You can get some fairly lightweight, translucent colored papers as well at most craft stores. I haven't gone to anything too bad or too lightweight. If you can add some extra LEDs to it, it'll help brighten it up a bit. But those are the two things I've used. So.
Yeah, somebody's asking me if I had a camera mother enclosure, but yeah, I got cameras in both of them. I don't have a streaming camera in the other one, but I do have a Lightburn camera in both my enclosures. I have to have them. But I tell you what, Lightburn's getting on my nerves with this whole. I just aligned that camera yesterday, and now it's saying that I have to do the alignment, and I just aligned that thing. I don't know what you got to do to make it. I don't know what you got to do to make it safe, but for some reason it does not save.
So, yeah, I don't know. I've played around with the cameras quite a bit. I can appreciate them, but I guess I just haven't built up enough trust to them on higher end things that I still kind of go back and do all my framing and such.
Oh, I still frame, but I mean, it takes it helps me because I'm a visual person. When I'm designing a design, it helps me if I can put the piece in there to determine whether it's proportionate or not. And so, and then it helps. Mine are very, very accurate. I mean, I would be willing to say that if these cameras are off by more than a millimeter or two, it's unusual. Now, I use the fisheye cameras in the big enclosure, and I would. Let me see if I can get it to pull up. I'll show you what it looks like. But now, once you calibrate it in Lightburn, it fixes the image to where you can see it. Yeah, it's not going. I don't think it's going. Well, here's one of them. I'll see if it'll let me. But this is what the images look like. This is the image straight off of the camera, not going through Lightburn for the ASMR. Now, when I do the calibration, it does correct the image, but that's the one in the ASMR, and that's the one in Enclosure Zilla. And when I calibrate those, it does correct that fisheye look. But these are I think 12 megapixel cameras, eight or 12. So it's pretty cool. But I run those in all my enclosure builds because they work from 6 inches all the way up to 25 inches. They work. So anyway, yeah, I don't like crosshairs. I don't like anything offset because Xtool, I tried using their little crosshair, but I was working on some jobs and you start getting close to the edge of the workspace. That 16 millimeter offset can be just enough to where it'll crash and hit the rail, or I don't like the offset. I would rather use the blue dot. And the blue dot, you know exactly where it's going.
So, William, funny enough, being as close as I am to them, no, I haven't used them for anything. So far, I've been lucky enough that I know a few friends that run sawmills and such, and even some of them have the slab flatteners and such. So I'm getting kiln dried hardwood that's often flattened on two sides, fairly inexpensive. Now, if I need something a little more unique, I've usually just driven up to, there's some lumber places up in the Twin Cities, along with Woodcraft and Rockler as well, if I want to pay a lot for it. But no, I've heard a lot of good things about them. They're definitely a good mail order one as well, for getting supplies. But I, funny enough, haven't used them. So
Yeah, guys. So these are my laser glasses. I've got these are my fiber glasses, and these are my diode glasses, and then my CO2 glasses are up there. Oh, and these are fibers as well. Supposedly, I didn't trust these,
yeah,
so I bought another pair. Now these would work for the CO2 because technically it's plexiglass. So I could use these for CO2, I guess, because pretty much anything works for CO2, right?
mm, mm,
Other
not
than
not straight acrylic because it can blast through that. Um, yeah, no, that's it's not so much the color, but you want to find a lens that's been tested and it should have a rating on it. So I don't know that
yeah,
this will
these
show,
didn't have any.
but that scribbling that's up on the top that's not coming through right now, is
No,
saying
I think that's a
the nanometer wavelength and the optical density that they're rated for, and so that's what you're looking for. There's
yeah.
they're about $40 to $50 on Amazon, and I'll drop a link in there. And that is what both of us use. Put it over in
Yeah.
mine as well. Um,
Free mascots, the name of them, and these are well, they're probably broken now. These are a little different than yours. Yours have it on the lens. Mine, if I'm not mistaken, these don't. But when I buy them, like I said, they have it listed. These other ones, like I said, these actually do have it engraved across the top. These are 190 through 420. Shoot. And 850 through 1300 OD6. So I need to buy me a new pair of these guys because these have gotten scratched up and dropped so many times. But I'd like to get me a pair that works for either, but I can't pull off that shape glasses that you wear. North Alabama, I couldn't tell you anything about XCS. Somebody else in here might can. I used to only use it for updating firmware, but to be honest with you, since my Xtools got put out of work out here in the shop, they're in the trailer, and I don't
so
even fool with them unless I go to an event.
yeah, that was it used to be in the setup where you could turn off the crosshair, and then I don't remember. Yeah, I'd have to look. I'm pretty sure all those options were in that same area where you can change the settings from using the crosshair to using the laser head. But
Yeah,
I'd have to look at it again. I did actually just recently download the latest update. I haven't played with it, but wanted to take a look at it. So
Armory, the cameras like I use, my portable enclosure that I use is only 12 inches from the honeycomb to the camera, and I use a fisheye like the ones that's in these enclosures, and it works great. So if you're going to use a flat lens, you're going to need to be, I would say, every camera that I've tested, just like this new Sculpt Fun camera, it works great from, I'd say, probably about 18 inches up to about 20 for the bigger machines. But to me, the fish eyes are just so forgiving because you can be too low or you can be too big or whatever, and it works. Now, any camera you get is not going to be perfect, so you're still going to have to frame, especially like Steve said, if you're engraving something that's particular. But now, if you're doing a cut and engrave on plywood, it really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? As long as you get it close to the edge and on the material, you're good. But you still want to frame. It just eliminates having to frame as often, and it also allows you to be able to kind of visualize what the finished product's going to look like in Lightburn. But yeah, like I said, the flat lens is, depending on the angle of the lens, you're going to have to be higher. The Sculpt Fun, it's a flat lens, it appears, but it does a really good job. I don't know if y'all saw a video on that, but it done a good job from about 17.5 inches.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think the Atom Stack camera, I had that around. It wasn't that high. I want to say it was maybe 12 to 13 inches off the top.
Talking
So
about that camera? That's the Atom Stack right there, the Maker camera. I use it for my overhead stuff. It's a really clear camera, but you do have to, like I said, I'd say between 15 and 20 inches, depending on the camera, would be what I'd recommend. You want to basically get the camera to where you can see the entire work area, but you don't want to go too high because then you start getting a pixelated image. You want it just big enough to see the entire work area. And you'll actually have to, a lot of times you'll have to adjust the height of the camera to get that look. All right, what else we got? All right, guys, if you hadn't already, like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you're not a member, I had a couple of folks joined up today. I approved a couple, but that is our Facebook community page, and me and Steve troll through there occasionally answering questions. A lot of the other guys in the live now are members of that group, and it's pretty helpful if you have a question. There's like lots of guys in there that are just as well versed at this stuff as me and Steve that can answer your questions even if we're not around. So it's a good community to be a member of. They're very helpful, and we do patrol it and try not to allow spam bots and just scams and stuff like that in there. We'll block those as fast as we can. So it's a good place, and we try to keep it a safe place for everybody to kind of hang out, show off some of your work, ask questions, all that. So, was there something Live Nation? What? I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, Brian. Brian's lost it. He's been quiet tonight. Klein's supposed to be in here. Klein claimed he was going to be sitting there watching.
yeah,
But I don't know where he's at. What are you saying? I mean, Brian, if you want to, dude, sing it and upload it to the group. I'm sure that would be a very popular topic, a very popular post in the group. We could get Brian singing. Well, if you could sing anything, I think it would be cool. So that'd be awesome.
it would be something.
All right, guys, y'all got awful quiet. There's got to be somebody with a question, comment, concern.
It's Labor Day weekend.
Nice.
Everybody's recovering from trying to close out summer.
I've been trying to get caught up. You see that? Wrong shoulder. You see that thing right there?
Barely.
That's a honey extract. That's a honey extractor.
Mm.
It looks like a very large stainless steel thing. So tomorrow I have to go steal some frames of honey. Well, probably not tomorrow. Probably this week. Sometime this coming up week, I'm going to go steal a little bit of honey from my bees and spit it out because my daughter has eaten up all of her honey. So that's going to be fun. Rob, it is laser engraving community. I just dropped it up there just a second ago. Hang on, let me put it back for a second. That's it. It's spelled just like that. And Steve just dropped you a link in there too.
Yep.
That'll actually be a little bit better. Hey, give me just a second. Let me check on something.
Now you just made it super quiet. Oh, he's really disappearing on us. So, well, hello, Kevin, Middle Tennessee. Yeah, I'd love some of those southern peaches coming up this way too. My son actually works seasonally at a apple farm up here, and they ship in peaches from down south and out from Michigan of all places as well. So I try not to overindulge on those, but I do enjoy that. So 10 on the business card templates. I've done it a couple ways. Actually, if you can do a layered approach where you cut the outline of the business cards with just a little like thumb spot or a finger latch into it. It allows you to grab the card as well. And then you can just laminate that on top of a piece of material so it stays level. And for that, I try to use something really, really thin just to get the template down. But maybe David, now that he's back, wants to mention how he does the business card templates. Yeah, your mic's off.
I said George wanted to say, "Hey, I'm gonna take him back outside."
Okay.
Yeah, I had to run outside, and George was out there eating some moths. So check in with him, make sure he was doing all right.
So the question is business card templates. How do you have yours set up?
I usually cut it out of. Hang on, let me grab one. Well, I'll just use this one. Well, here's the other one. All right. So, 2 layers of material. All right, like this is for envelopes, and as we know, envelopes are not very thick. So basically, when I cut this, I take these little pieces, I sand them down to get them to where there's just enough of a recess to make it for the envelopes. Put them back in the holes and tape it up. All right, these are for the little round dog tags. I cut it out of 4.5 millimeter material. I cut me some circles out of 3 millimeter material, put it in the hole, and then tape it. And that allows the surface of the little dog tags to be even with the top of the jig. So that's how I do that. I've got one for business cards somewhere. Hang on. I've got a few of these. Hang on. Let me flip through here and find it. Oh, let's see. There's some more little dog tags. Same principle. 4.5 millimeter material, 3 millimeter material. Tape them into the holes. My business card one may actually not be in here. It may be out in the trailer. I think it's actually in the. Well,
But yeah, I mean, it's the same theory of doing. You have like the shape cut out, and then you use a thinner material. There you go. But then the key is having that kind of that hole so you can grab each one as well.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. This is just that's why I have, like I said, I keep a lot of 3 millimeter material, and then this is 4.5, and so that just gives you that like 1.5 millimeter ledge right there. And there's also, by doing that, it gives you 3 millimeter space to be able to reach underneath it and pick it up off the honeycomb without it, getting hung up. So yeah, I have a few of those. All my jig panels for everything you can think of. But yeah, that's how you do it. That way it makes them easier to get out. It also allows the material, especially with some of these machines, it keeps you from having to lower your machine down to where you can strike the jig if you're not careful.
I don't know. You got some speed and power settings recommendations for Robert?
No, no. I try to keep food out of my laser. I have done peaches and apples and stuff like that, just playing around.
I
Great
would.
video from Billingsley, Coburn. Wait a minute, hold on. That's like that is a neighbor. When we say neighbors, because Billingsley's not very big, guys, at all. I'm assuming you mean Billingsley, Alabama. He's got to be Eric Coburn. That's if that ain't a Chilton County name, I don't know what is.
Yeah, Robert, I'd recommend
Or could
maybe
be
defocusing the laser a little bit if you want to cook the hot dogs. So, get your rotary set up and
defocus a lot.
yeah, and then let us know how it goes.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I try to. I mean, sometimes curiosity gets the better of me. Like I've done peaches. I've like engraved the fuzz off of a peach. I've engraved the apples and stuff like that. But it's just I try to keep like meats and stuff that would stink on it out of my enclosures.
Well,
Oh,
it'd be something. It'd probably smell better than leather. So
yeah. Kevin Burns went to high school in Prattville. Well, that's Billingsley technically, Billingsley address technically kind of straddles Chilton and Ottawa County, so I guess he could be in Ottawa County as well. But yeah, that's where that's my zip code. Let's put it that way. It's 36006. Somebody was asking me a question. Shoot, what was that? I was fixing to look up something.
well, Brent's asking you about plans for the laser enclosure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what it was. Man, I tell you, it's been a long day. I have the plans, and I use the term plans loosely. It is not plans like Steve does. It's basically the dimensions, a drawing, an illustration, if you would, of the enclosures, depending on which one you want. But they're in our laser engraving community group, and they're under the downloads section. It's a PDF file. So if you join that group, if you join the Laser Engraver community group, they're in the download section. So,
Brian, yes. So the I painted mine white using cabinet paint that has kind of a more of a stronger shell to it, I guess you would say, easier to clean. And for multiple reasons. A, the white is going to reflect any light in there better. Two, yeah, it helps seal up the wood from absorbing moisture and warping, but also any sort of fumes and such. And then also to be able to clean as well. If you use the right type of paint, with more of a kind of a gloss or so finish or cabinet paint that's kind of meant to be cleaned and whatnot, it helps cut down on that kind of lingering smell that can, develop. A lot of people wonder about that. Your honeycomb, after a while, it gets pretty dirty. It also has a bit of that odor to it. And once you clean that, you'll notice that, your workshop space is going to smell a little bit less like laser and smoke as well. So same thing with the enclosure. I definitely like having the paint on there to help keep it clean and keep it from stinking up as much.
yeah, I've thought about painting the insides and the outsides of mine, but I just got this whole wood theme going.
Well, I mean, you could just, you could seal it with anything you want. Just you want it.
No,
so
I
that it
want
can't
to.
absorb it.
I want
So,
to. I want to paint it. I want to paint it like traffic cone orange on the inside. That way, when if anybody sees one of my videos, they'll know that's one of my enclosures.
No,
So I'll be the only guy in town that has an enclosure that is traffic cone orange
there
on
you
the
go.
inside. Yeah, we'll try to get you in there, Shoemaker. Give me just a second. Okay, Todd Vance, a few seconds ago there. And Brent Shoemaker.
I already clicked on
So
them.
no, if it's like, how in the world it kept telling me, wait a minute, Jericho Fernandez?
They're
He
flying
hasn't
in.
answered the question. He hasn't answered the questions though. That if
Uh-oh.
you don't answer the questions, guys, that makes me leery of whether you're a real person or not. So answer the questions. If you're wanting to get into the group, please answer the questions. Because we do not try to let people in there like that. Don't shoot me, orange. What? Hunting color. Oh yeah, yeah. The what do they call flame orange? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Safety orange.
No, Brandy can't decorate my enclosures. No.
Sure she can.
She'd have bows and ribbons and stuff. You can't have ribbons in your enclosure. That would just be insane.
I
See,
wouldn't, but you could.
See, here's what the inside of it looks like right now. It does have the like right over here. I've got my little Godzilla with the blue laser beam. You know, it's pretty neat in there. The wood is very bright. So, but yeah, that'd be a job to paint. I hate painting too. I'd have to use a roller or a spray can. What's up? What's up, P. Sanchez? I am still active, but praying for retirement. Hopefully, it won't be much longer now. Oh. Sharon, she would think she did a good job. You would probably think she did a good job, but I don't know that it would be up to my specifications. The PDF, yes. Now the enclosure Zilla, Brent, you're not going to want that. That's the 36-inch long enclosure. The other one will fit. I don't. That's yeah. The other one was made for an Otour LM3 originally. I don't think I have a plan for this one. This was my like 36 by 36 that I recently built. But yes, the smaller one, the Clack Shack enclosure, that was my original enclosure build, and it was actually built to house a X-Tool D1. But now you still may want to look at the measurements and measure your machine because a lot of folks are adding things that stick out from the main frame. So just measure your machine first and make sure that it's going to fit inside. If it doesn't, you can always just add a couple of inches to the dimensions and increase the size of it and do it that way. All right. Oh, it's getting quiet. Y'all know I don't like when it gets quiet. Steve, talk about something.
Something is very interesting. I talk about something all the time.
Oh, well, hey, we let it go. But look, limit switch covers for these guys that don't know how to put limit switch covers on their machines. I have gotten where I'm pretty proficient with Fusion 360. It's coming along. I'm getting there. So anytime somebody doesn't include a part with a machine now, and I made these cool little clips for the extrusions. It's my OCD, cable management, and covered up. Those limit switches on the longer were just kind of out there asking to get broken, and so I felt like it needed a cover. So I made
You mean the Sculpt Fun?
Yes, Sculpt Fun. My bad. I said longer. The longer I think is.
Yeah, I mean the limit switches in general on Sculpt Fun just seem to be like an afterthought because they have you tape them into the channel and kind of just fish the wiring and slap it onto the side. That's one thing where I really feel they could have stepped it up a bit and make it feel a little more like part of the machine instead of like, oh, we should throw these on here. So
Yeah, mine weren't too terrible with this last one, the S30. They weren't terrible, but they didn't have a cover. And they're right there where all the cabling is. And that little piece of metal, it doesn't take but about, 2 pounds of pressure to break that thing. So I was scared to death they were going to get broke. So I went ahead and engineered myself some. This one had to be remade because it had to have a little bit of extension here and over here. and I even added my logo to the one that's on there now. But this is version 1, and I put it on there. It had to have some adjustments to it. But I'm gonna save it in case it works for another machine. But yeah, Fusion was a little intimidating, and but it's getting there. Blaze orange is what forget
There
me
we
not
go.
saying. See,
Yep.
Blaze, that's what it was. Yeah, but I like that color. I'm trying to find some shoes that color. I already have, I have my hoodie. I can't wait for it to get cold enough where I can use my hoodie. Uh, I wouldn't say that no, I haven't really. If you have a Sculpt Fun and you want some of these, if you don't have a 3D printer, now if you have a 3D printer, it's easy enough. I can upload the STL. But if you don't have a 3D printer and you wanted them, you could email me and I could see if maybe Brandy had time to ship them out while, she's at the post office or something. I don't ever go to the post office. But I wouldn't mind it. It'd be kind of cool. But now keep in mind, I did put the Clack Shack logo on. The final one. You have to let me know if you want it with or without the logo.
You could just fill that in with a little putty and paint it. No problem. Get rid of that mess.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's cool because it's the one that's on the gantry, so the logo's like facing you. But if you have an S30 and you have that problem, then just shoot me an email, clack@theclackshack.com, and we can see about doing that maybe. I don't like shipping stuff, but this stuff's so small and so light, it wouldn't be that bad. I could probably just get is it like $10 or something for small things?
Well, something like that, if you put it in you just have to make sure it survives it. But in a padded envelope, it's going to be about $4 to ship it. Their new grounded Vantage, which replaced First Class.
Yeah.
So.
On the D1, I actually just went to like hardware store and bought some little cable straps, little plastic cable straps, and there was already screw holes there, and you just got to find some screws to fit them. And you can screw those into those. They put the holes there. I don't know why they didn't throw in the screws and the little metal pieces or the plastic pieces. But 10 minus 9, I'm a rookie when it comes to 3D printing. I literally started doing it 2-3 weeks ago. But I did a lot of research, and for the price, for a beginner, and to minimize the opportunity for mistakes, I went with the Creality V2, Ender 3 V2 Neo. And so far, I spent a little time. I spent about an hour adjusting everything, making sure that the bed moved like it was supposed to, made sure all the belts were tensioned properly, the eccentric nuts were tensioned properly. And then I spent time leveling the bed and went over it 5 times to make sure the bed was leveled. Then it has the automatic bed leveling, which I'm thinking basically just adjusts the Z-axis on it. But so far, I've had 2 prints mess up, and both of those were because I tried to zip it up in the enclosure and it got too hot, and the PLA started bending as it went into the extruder. So other than that, everything's come out good so far. But I think that thing's only $250. Except it's the back of a mirror.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it depends on what someone considers a mid-level budget.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look at some the Bamboos and some of the bigger, Crealities, I mean, it's not all that expensive.
No, the Ender line is a good line, and you can definitely get it into a lot cheaper. There's a lot of options and things out there, but it can be, if you're not a person who likes to tinker with stuff, and you just want something working just straight out of the box, there are a few products out there that you're going to pay a little bit more for, but work pretty well. And there are some faster ones out there, some newer versions. So the Bambu Labs is a lot faster, up to 4 times faster than some of your typical ones. Same thing with the Anchor Make, their new 3D printer. That's supposed to be pretty quick as well, but you're going to pay a little bit more for them. So.
$1,000, you can actually get into some of the upper 3D printers for $1,000. The one I have was $250 for the machine, and then the PLA, ABS, was it PETG? I bought all kinds of filaments, and that stuff runs about $15 for a 2 pound roll or 1 kilogram roll or whatever. So it's not terribly expensive, especially when you're printing little small stuff like this. Because I've barely even knocked a dent. I want to go to black, but I don't want to change it because I, I put the white in there originally because I was like, well, if I waste a bunch of it, the black was what I was wanting to use to make my little parts, but I just don't want to have to change it out. It's working too good right now. I don't want to mess with it. David Allen. That's a good name. I'm telling you, that's a really good name. It is. It is. The Creality Falcon 2, I technically still got it. Klein's using it. But the 20 watt, and it was a really good machine. Automatic air assist, good sturdy machine, nice spot size, done a good job. So if they have left their machine alone and haven't done a lot of changing to it, it's probably going to be a pretty good machine. I don't know if, a lot of these machines get speed upgrades and stuff like that. So if it gets a little bit of a speed bump and 40 watts of power, I would say it would be a good machine. I haven't played with one yet. Have you seen one or got one yet?
No, I haven't. I haven't had any of the Creality lasers, so can't speak to that.
Oh, if you start talking about printing metal, tin, you're gonna, that's a whole nother animal. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get that on Amazon. I would be afraid to price one to print metal with. Well, maybe my computer's struggling tonight, or Facebook. It's probably Facebook. Last time it did that, it was only Facebook. And it's not showing me where people are this anymore. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Mark's watching on YouTube, so I may be lagging a little bit.
Well, you're coming through okay on this, so I imagine it's the rendering to individual services that are looking weird.
But yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't even want to try to price anything to print with metal. I think carbon fiber is about as hard as I'll be going anytime soon. Yeah. Now you could get yourself a CNC and carve from blocks of metal. That would be a little more affordable. Denver, Colorado. YouTube. Yeah. Denver. We'll go to Denver one day. I'm gonna come to Minnesota one day too.
Denver's all right.
About 2 years. I'm gonna get portable. I'm gonna be moving all over the place. Yeah, Daniel, I've been eyeballing the was it Bamboo Labs, the one that has like multiple color printing capability. Oh, that's like on my wish list right now. Now it does look like a large microwave oven, but I like the way that machine runs. But truth be known, I'll be playing with this one until, I decide I just gotta have it.
Yeah, it's on my wish list right now, but I have so many other things going on that I'm like, well, I'm not going to buy it and have it sit around. But definitely, if I was getting serious on some new projects, I'd be looking at that one right now because
It's impressed me everything I've seen on it.
Yeah, I've had a few people I know buy them and they like it. But I mean, that Anchor Make M5, I think it's the M5. A good friend of mine has that, and he's been loving it, and so that's definitely a nice option as well. At a little under half the price of that one, but it doesn't have all the features, whatnot. But it's got the speed, and it's a little bit nicer for getting started as well without a lot of headache of bed leveling and other things.
Yeah. Brent, I have the X Tool D1 standard in a 10 watt, which was my original laser that I bought a couple of years ago. And I also have the D1 Pro in a 20 watt, which was the one I upgraded. That was the first time I upgraded my machines. And I used to, for about the first several months, I ran the 10 watt over here and the 20 watt over here on a day to day basis. But since then, I have had a lot more machines come through the shop. I've upgraded and found machines that I like better. And so they're pretty much reserved for events now because my portable setup was designed specifically for those machines. And so they're currently in my trailer for events.
Yeah, I haven't used my original 10 in a while, but I've got my 20 watt over here in the enclosure, and still use that for a number of things. It's a good machine.
I don't know how much the 20's running. I don't, like I said, I don't, hadn't kept up with them in a while. 18,000 per minute. What? I think you're talking about speed. But but yeah, when I bought mine, I think I paid like $1,400 or $1,600 for it, and it was just the machine. That was no honeycomb, no air, no. Well, it did come with air assist. That was a honeycomb. The air assist cone was on it and everything, but I had the pump I already had. So yeah, it was.
That was your original 10.
Yeah, I had to buy the 10 watt. Then I had to turn around and buy the honeycomb. Then I had to turn around and buy the air assist. And like by the time it was all said and done, I had because the X-Tool Air Assist, they like that thing. Knowing if I knew now what I if I knew then what I know now, I'd have went and bought a Comgrow Air Assist instead of that X-Tool one, and saved myself a couple of $100
Yeah,
because it's the same Air Assist. It's just got one says it's X-Tool and the other one doesn't. And the Comgrow Air Assist you could actually put on other machines other than just the X tool. So yeah, but I didn't know that. My second air assist I bought was the Comgrow, or actually I think they sent that to me. Was the Comgrow air assist, and I'm
yeah.
still using that thing.
Yeah, the air pumps that came with both of them. I will say that the Comgrow air pump I got, it's noisier. It's as effective, but for some reason the one I got, it just has a little more of a rattle to it. But yeah,
Yeah.
they sent, I think, what in the Comgrow kit you got two cones or something like that, a couple different ones depending
Yeah.
on that, and they made some accessories so that it fit multiple things and offered it, I think, about half the price of the X-Tool one. So
Oh yeah, it's much cheaper.
hmm
The honeycomb too, because I bought the X tool honeycomb.
hmm
So that was I was it was early. I was early on into it, and you know, but now I know more. So 3D print. I'll put it in your. Okay, Brian, you asked for it there, fella. Uh, I want to see Steve say that.
wah 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 wah.
No, the whole pump. We're here to pump you up. That's what you need to do. You need to do that.
Why
That
me?
should be like your. You should change that to your like make your intro that way. Oh, yeah, but Brent, I mean, there's a lot of machines out there if you're wanting to get into it. A lot of different machines of varying power, varying price point. Do your homework, do your research. Uh, I'm gonna tell you, it's the laser market right now is very competitive, and when I say people ask me all the time, "Hey, what's the best laser?" And if you that depends on what you intend on doing with it. So one, you need to figure out what you're going to do with it before you figure out which laser you need. Figure out exactly what it is you want to do. So people ask me all the time, well, won't you tell people, which laser to get? And that's the reason. It's because it depends on what you're going to do with it. If you're engraving, you can get by with a lot cheaper machine than if you're doing a lot of cutting. So
Yeah, Yeah, I've had people ask me specifically between a couple lasers as well, and I just try to say, well, here's the advantages of one, here's the advantage of the other. Um, so you're right. It kind of comes down to what are you looking to do or what's important to you. One of the factors that it's kind of hard for you or I to speak to is what's their support level like, you know,
Yeah.
because, especially if we're sent these machines for review, we often have, more than just a generic support email contact to say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. So there have been times when I've actually just reached out to their support to ask a mundane question to see what the response is, to try to get an idea on that, because that would be something for me as I'm looking at things, is I want to know if I'm having problems with your machine, are you going to be responsive? So
Yeah.
that being said, there's a lot of groups. There's like you and I with our videos. There's our laser engraving community group. There's other groups out there that I think um, people gravitate to get those questions answered, and that's fine. Just be sure you're giving the full information if you're asking those questions. It's when someone
Yeah.
says, "I can't get this laser to do anything. What am I doing wrong?" It's like, I don't know. Did you plug it in? I mean, you're not giving us anything off there, versus someone who says, "Hey, I'm getting this jitteriness, and here's a video and such." There's the That was kind of when I got started with my CO2 and I was buying it off of eBay. I knew going into this that the chances of me getting any support on it after I paid for it was next to none. But I had done a lot of research on it. I'm fairly comfortable with electronics and other things. So I was like, okay, I'm going to play around with this. And I had worked with some CNC machines at that point, so I kind of knew some of the basis of it. Um, and so the internet is a good place to find people that can help you out, even if it's not the manufacturer and such. But it's still nice to know that, maybe the company has been around. They've maybe got a few machines under their belt. They're not a fly-by-night operation, and they're going to help you. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to make recommendations off some of that.
Well, and it's like I tell people all the time. I can't attest to every Acer machine that is being built. Like Brian said, he had a problem with his. I have had three Acers. I had the P20, which worked flawlessly for me for almost a year. And I'm talking production level flawless. Like on the weekends, it would run for 8 hours a day. And during the week, I run it for probably 2 hours a day in the afternoons. And it's worked flawlessly for months. I got the V35. So far, it's worked great. But I got my hands on one of the L2s and had an issue with it. But you've got the same machine in the L2 and haven't had issues. So I can't guarantee you that the machine that you get is going to be exactly the way mine is. But I heard somebody say earlier that they bought the LM3 after watching my review, and I'll let you know that LM3 is still going. Klein's using it in his shop. It recently got a 20-watt upgrade and extensions added to it, and he's still using it as his main machine. And somebody else mentioned the Acer. Brian mentioned he got the Acer, and like I said, I've had good luck with them. I prefer the bigger machines, so I'm sticking with the P and the V models. But the L2 worked pretty well for a while, and then something happened. For all I know, it could have got hit by lightning. I don't know, but it suddenly I come out here one day and fired it up, and it didn't work. So I I don't know. I don't know what happened to it. It's still a mystery, and I haven't had the time to sit and dissect it and try to troubleshoot it. So, eights are, they kept back and forth with me, and I was just like, look, you just I'm not gonna try to fix it. But one day maybe, I'll get around to sitting down and figure out what's wrong with it, and I can order some parts and have it back running. But right now, I got too much other stuff going on to fool with it. But yeah, Chris, I agree. A lot of times you can get the answers a lot quicker in online forums and communities than you can trying to reach out to their tech support.
Hmm.
Because I think Steve can attest to this. Pretty much any of those companies, if you email them, you're looking at a 24-hour turnaround, unless you do it at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you can catch them at the good time and you get a quick response. But yeah, that's the nature of it. So And like I said, there's a lot of good support groups out there. Just try to be as descriptive as you can when you're reaching out. It makes it so much easier than to have to go back and forth and try to ask, you know, clarifying questions on what the issue is. So
Yeah. Well, Brian, maybe you'll get it working. I thought I was having a problem with my V35 until I realized it was my assembly. I messed up. You know how it is. You get so used to ripping these things apart, putting them back together. I mean, I have literally had my P20 apart and back together like 4 times, changing stuff out. And so when I threw this V35 together, it's the same machine, and I flew through it and overlooked that one little step, and it bit me. Yeah, Chris is in China on China time over there. All right, guys. Questions, comments, concerns. You know, mess with Steve. Whatever.
so yeah, that was one thing that concerned me. The installation and build manual for the Niji is about that big.
Oh,
And I'm like,
it requires an imagination.
wow. And
Yeah,
they've got pictures and text on there. And I'm like, does it come with a magnifying glass?
Yeah. The Niji's different. It's different.
No, it's the cool thing though is that it does if you like to tinker and modify. You know, now that I have it assembled, you know, it's a very quiet machine, as a matter of fact.
Oh,
And so you know, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining or ragging on it, because so far it's been a nice machine, and I think it's going to impress me in some ways. But man, it just wasn't. It's not the laser for the person who wants to kind of pull something out of a box, put a couple parts on, and go to town on it. You got to do a little work to get everything hooked up and run and organized. So
yeah. I mean, it works well. Like I said, I've got mine, or had mine. I just recently gave it to the STEM program at the school here recently. But it's a good machine, and it has its place. But it is definitely one of those that if you better like putting stuff together, or you're gonna hate it. But yeah, by the way, reminder about the event Saturday. Brandy mentioned. Uh, we do have next week. Brandy and I, as long as she doesn't bail on me, will be at Pedals from the Past in Jemison, Alabama, at a meet and greet. So if you're within driving distance, or if you just want to go for a ride that day and come hang out with us.
yeah, I'm
That's
definitely going to
there's
do
the
that.
event right there. Yeah, Steve. If you left now, I don't know that you can make it. But now there's some people that's in Alabama and people that are around this way that might want to come, because the kicker is I will be doing a drawing the day of the event. I'm gonna have a little thing that you're gonna get basically stop by the booth, put your name and phone number on a little, what do you call those? What are they called? I don't know. Anyway,
Business card.
no, it's like the tickets, the little tickets that you
Oh.
get, the little 2-piece tickets where you tear them.
Oh,
Anyway,
gotcha.
you're gonna drop your name and phone number into the bucket, and at the end of the event, or sometime close to the end of the event, after everybody's had a chance to come by, we're gonna spin that thing, and we're gonna draw a name, and somebody is going to get to leave there with a 20-watt whiz maker. So yeah, it's a slightly used whiz maker, but it still works really good. I'm gonna clean it before the event, so it'll be nice and clean for them. But yeah, I had been keeping it because it was kind of cross compatible with the P20, but now that I went to the V35, yeah, you can get a free ink pen. I got like 20 pounds of ink pens I'll be bringing, and some other stuff too. But just little junk that I've made and stuff. I've had a couple people request that I bring my little sleighs so they can come look at them. But yeah, so if you're in the area, check that link out. You go, comment, whatever, drive down, because Oh, y'all. I can't show you guys that. Steve just sent me a private message, and no.
Oh,
Anyway,
same.
I didn't name the machine, Steve. I did not name it. Let's just leave it at that. But uh, but yeah, we'll be sitting out under a tent probably because it's gonna probably still be hot. I will have a fan, so you can come hang out. I'll have some extra chairs if anybody wants to come hang out for a little while. You can sit down and talk to us and talk shop, whatever. Meet some other folks. I think it'll be a fun time. But this is going to be my very first meet and greet. So somebody, please, at least one person, please stop by and say, "Hey." I'm going to feel really bad if nobody shows up. So, it's gonna be like it's gonna be me and Brady just sitting there. We can do that on the porch, you know. But yeah,
Yep.
yeah, Brian, you and Steve right in the same way. Well, forget me not. I actually have two trees machines, but luckily I haven't needed their product support. Yeah, May May will be there. Cog Hill's going to be there. Chestnut Hill. There's a whole slew of creators from my area going to be there. So y'all might want to drive by and check it out if you're close by. Hey, a couple of y'all got no excuse because I know there's two people in here that know where Ottawa County is or Billingsley. So y'all ain't got no excuse. Y'all like 30 minutes away. Well, Rob, it'll be about 2 years before the Texas tour gets kicked off. We're gonna do a we're gonna do some traveling here in about 2 years when I retire. My wife has promised me I can buy a camper, and I'm gonna go see Steve. I'm gonna take her somewhere. I'm gonna take Brandy somewhere. I don't know where yet, but Christmas. She's never had it actually snow at Christmas, so we're gonna make the family mad one Christmas and go somewhere where it snows. Steve's like, it snows all year in my house.
Hey, there are some years that I wonder if we're going to have a white Christmas. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, there we go, right there. See, I called this already. So, Steve, what do you think?
What are you getting on me about?
What do you think on this question? I called it like 6 months ago. I said we'd have 40 watts by the end of the year, or probably longer than that.
Sorry, I'm prepping something else now. What are the next big boost in diode laser power will be just improvements on the 40-watt level machine functions. I don't know. I'd love to see them actually figure out a way to improve the actual power output of a single diode, because I think that would, mixed together with some of the technologies they're using to combine them, would add to it. But it's hard to say, because they've just been stacking these diodes, and the more they do that, the more heat it generates, and you're seeing these modules get bigger. So are we going to see bigger ones from that? At some point it's going to get to be a ridiculously sized module. So I don't know. I think I'd like to see that the actual output of the individual modules increase at some point here. You're sure giggling over there.
That's because you missed it.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna park our RV in your lawn. It's gonna be like what was that show, Griswold's Christmas or whatever?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Oh. Well, Chris, if I ever do make it to Australia, I'll definitely have to meet up with you and have some like coffee or go shoot some kangaroos or something. He said they're like deer. So I mean, I'm assuming you get to shoot them.
all right. Well,
I'll tell you what I would like to see. I can't wait for somebody other than, I mean, I know Niji does it, but I want to see some of these big names like Acer and Xtool and all these guys to fix an actual uh, focal length adjustable machine or either stretch one out to where you ain't got to be barely missing the material to cut it.
yeah.
That's what I want to see. I think that should be the next thing that they concentrate on is not necessarily the power, but maintaining focus for greater distances. Because you wouldn't think that would be too hard. I mean, they'd have to have like what? I mean, a culminating laser or a culminating lens, and then a focus lens behind it, maybe like two focus lenses. It would make it taller, but I don't know that it would make it that much bigger.
Just being able to maybe swap out focal lenses, knowing that you might have a slightly wider beam versus a fine focus point would be a nice. They get that with the CO2s. You can swap out your focus lens, and that's really nice. But yeah. So speaking of meet and greets, mine isn't this next Saturday, but there is the Woodworkers Expo in Minnesota. It's in the Twin Cities area at Canterbury Park, coming up on Saturday, October 14th. And right there in kind of the upper right, you'll notice a nice little Vintares Workshop logo. They have asked me to come and do some laser demonstrations. So I'll be seeing what I can do up there. I still got to work that out with them. I'm trying to see if I can get some modest smoke extractors to cut down on it and such. But that's I'll be up there, and as you can see on there, there's a lot of other cool manufacturers and suppliers. Rockler Woodcraft. You got Sawstop, Festool, DeWalt, Milwaukee. A lot of places that are going to be up there, and a lot of demos, door prizes. There's a tool swap outside and such. So this will be my first kind of meet and greet with laser demos as well. So stop by, say hi if you're in the area mid-October, and we'll have some fun.
Yeah, Steve, I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it.
Not even with DeWalt there. I think that would drag you up there.
I mean, I saw that and I was thinking to myself, he's gonna get up there and like get hooked up with DeWalt, and then that's gonna be terrible. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna have to wait till I retire before I can make those trips. But yeah, Rob, there is as far as the diodes, I don't know whether they participate as much. I've never been to one. I do plan on starting to go, but they usually have like a big conference out in, was it Vegas? Was the last LaserCon or whatever? But I've never been to one. But in the next couple of years, I would love to be able to save my pennies and go out there and see what's going on at those places.
So there is some of those tend to be larger. A lot of the bigger manufacturers and such. But let me see if I can get this up here as well. Um, Lightburn is having their um, Lightburn experience end of October, East Peoria, Illinois. And they do have a number of speakers set up to talk about from everywhere from beginner to advanced. And I believe for the people who, I'm trying to see if I know I've seen an itinerary somewhere. Um, Part of it is they are going to be talking about, hey, maybe it's here. They are going to be talking about CNC operations. So lasers to CNC, lasers and beyond, by a guy from Lightburn. So I would imagine the people who've been waiting for Lightburn's CNC functionality, they're going to be seeing more of it here. And I have heard other manufacturers like SculptFun and others I don't know that they themselves are coming, but they are sending a representative. And so that might just be one of their advanced users that are here in the US. If you're in kind of the Midwest area, you can go to this. I believe you got to register by like the 15th of September. So it's coming up quick. It's $125 and you get a free t-shirt as well as a year extension of your Lightburn license. So that'd be
That's
another
not
thing.
bad.
There's a lot of, look here, Gun Mod Laws by Mark Schilling, Diode Basics, Six Figures with Lightburn. There's a lot of, they kind of have intermediate, beginner, and beyond stuff. So they're bumping it out into 3 tracks. It looks interesting. I'm still kind of tossing it up if I want to go or not. because it does look like it'd be very interesting.
I was fixing to say if it was in Georgia or Mississippi, I might. Illinois is a little long ways for me to go.
Well, it's closer than
I could
Minnesota
see.
by a few hours.
Yeah. I could see me making it to somewhere south of the Mason Dixon, but I just don't know that I can make it all the way to Illinois.
Well, you're going to have to if you want to come up this way.
Well, I will eventually in a couple of years, but I gotta get my camper, man. I can't afford a motel room for that long of a trip. I gotta have a camper where I can just like crash in a Walmart or something.
Well, they're cracking down on that too, so good luck. You have to find yourself a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, last year it was in June in Vegas because I know I saw a couple of the YouTube channels that actually went to it or whatever for some of the big CO2 companies. But you know, I'm not really tied in with any big CO2 companies, so I don't know that I'll be getting a like invite per se. But we'll see. Never know. Brandy doesn't care why we go. If I want to go to Vegas, Brandy would love that as long as I take her with me. She doesn't care about the laser stuff, but I'm sure she would go.
I don't know. Depends on the time of year. Vegas gets really hot.
It's dry out there. Last time we went, it was hot. It was like it was 105 today, but it was so dry it felt good. That's I can deal with that. This is just a dry hot. 80% humidity at 105 here will kill you. Well, yeah, I'm Cayuse. I am about two years out, so I'll let you know when I get there. I hope it's all I've been told it's going to be. It's definitely got to be better than going to work every day. Not that I'm not going to be working here, but just not for somebody else. Be working for myself. All right, comments, concerns. Like I said, somebody want to, Brian, you want to take a shot at Steve today? I mean, anything. Coming up on the 2-hour mark, guys. So we got about 8 minutes left before we all turn into a pumpkin. Y'all have pumpkins up your way, Steve?
Yeah, we have pumpkins up here.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they grow up there in that ice or
not. Record heat this weekend, so yes, it gets warm up here and we grow things.
Yeah.
We're like the nation's turkey supplier too.
I could see that.
What's that supposed to mean?
Like some, wild turkeys up your way.
No, I mean like farm turkeys, like, Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Orange ice pumpkins. Yeah.
Now, speaking of pumpkins, though, with Thanksgiving coming up, they do take well to laser marking pumpkin pies. So
yeah,
that's a fun thing.
You can carve a pumpkin with a laser too. It's just a little messy.
Yeah, well, I would see you do the pie thing, and it just caramelizes the top, and it doesn't. It's generally pretty safe to do because it's in a pie tin. And
Steve, you should engrave your Thanksgiving turkey this year. Like put like a Venturi's Workshop logo on his breast.
No. I don't even necessarily cook turkey, so I think it's the second time Josh asked this, so we should answer it. So, question on forming an LLC, hiring it out or doing the paperwork yourself, things like that.
I went online and used what was it called? It was easy. I just went online and used LegalZoom. That's it.
That's a popular one.
Because I didn't want to have to do it. Now, it does cost you more to do it that way because they charge you a fee, of course. It's cheaper if you feel comfortable in the legal jargon to do it yourself. or if you have an attorney friend, a lot of attorneys will do it. Like local attorneys will do it for you and not charge you a whole lot. But I just kind of, it was one of those things that came up. I looked at how much it costs, and the whole legal fees and startup costs, basically, you could claim that on your taxes at the end of the year anyway. So I was like, I'm not going to, I would rather do it this way and have it done within 2 or 3 days as opposed to having to go through a local attorney and it take weeks, spend the same amount of money. So I just went ahead and did the Legal Zoom to get everything set up. And of course, set it up to where basically me and Brandy are the only two. Like it's a dual, I guess you could say, ownership, but that's one of the first things you need to do. That get your EIN number so that you don't have to use your social when you're setting up accounts with people, because you don't really want to go handing out your social. Because I know like a lot of the affiliate stuff that we do, you have to have either a EIN or a social security number. And today's age and time, it's easier, it's better to me to hand out that EIN than it is to send my social to somebody that I don't know. That would be the two biggest, most important steps I think you need to take. What's your take on that, Steve? You've been there too.
Yeah, so this is a little bit. It's going to depend on the state you're in, and at least within the U.S. and what they offer for how to set up. So some states have a really, really easy online portal, and they make it fairly simple. But I would like you said, either find a good online service that's reputable that can walk you through it. Talk with an attorney or an accountant. Either one can kind of help guide you, because if you're looking at LLC, you might want to talk to an accountant anyway, because there's likely going to be some financial and tax surprises that you haven't thought about, and they might have some good recommendations for tools or who to talk to as well. But yeah, it's like you mentioned, it's definitely easy to do. Like Brian mentioned, Minnesota has a pretty easy online portal for starting a small business and setting up an LLC. But other states, it's kind of like, here's the form in triplicate, go fill it out and have it notarized over here and do these other things. It's going to depend on your state and how they accept it and such. So, but yeah, definitely worth it for a variety of reasons. But you kind of got to. It depends. I mean, if you're kind of in it and it's a hobby and you occasionally might do a craft show, maybe it's not for you. You have low liability, low income. Your books are literally a notepad from what you sold at the event. But once you start doing things more regularly, and like you mentioned, interacting with either businesses where you might be purchasing or invoicing with them, or that they're paying you for certain things, it makes it a lot easier. So.
Yeah, that's what drove me over, was because when I was just doing, the Facebook Marketplace thing, where I would make little things and put them on Marketplace and sell them, $30 here, $50 there, $100 here. I just kept it up with it on a spreadsheet. But when I got, companies as customers, now they're wanting invoices before they can pay you. They're paying you with a check, and it gets to the point to where, okay, this isn't going to be easily overlooked. So we might need to start actually keeping the books appropriately. So I got the LLC formed, did all of my trademark and got my logo trademarked, my business name trademarked, all that stuff. Got QuickBooks to keep up with everything, and went ahead and purchased like a whole bunch of domains. The clackshack.com, the clackshack.co, the clackshack.net, clackshack.biz, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that goes into it as you grow and as you persist. And because, it's just, you don't think about these things until you start doing it. And then it's like, wait a minute, this is something else that I see I need to do. But QuickBooks, and that's a lifesaver. If you're going to do what we do, especially with Etsy, because you can actually tie Etsy into QuickBooks, and that keeps you from having to take those transactions and put them in manually. You can just tie your Etsy account to your QuickBooks, and boom, everything goes together. So, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jim, as far as like insurance, I mean, I don't really, like I said, I have liability coverages that I have for other reasons that covers me as a sole proprietor. But I bought it because I do security details and stuff. So I don't necessarily I don't necessarily do a whole lot for the business, but I do have a policy that I got that I keep through the for doing basically off duty employment stuff in case I get liable for something. But I try not to like this is not a public space, so people don't come in here. That's the biggest liability that I might have. But seeing that this is my home and this is my house, it's generally not a whole lot of people coming through here.
Yeah, but definitely, if you get to that point and you've registered a business with your state, and you're working out of your home, have that conversation with your insurance agent, because if you do have a problem, a fire or so in your shop, and
Oh,
then they start digging into
yeah.
it and going, well, you're running a business out of this, we're not going to cover, I mean, I've seen it go both ways where they're like, all right, well, that's going to change things a little bit, but we'll still be able to do this. But others are like, oh, business, they that's one of the ways they try to wash their hands of it. So, I don't try to fly under the radar. Make sure you're covered. Talk with your agent, and maybe it's the case where you're gonna have to split that out, and you have to go with another agent for your business stuff versus your home stuff. But um, I I wouldn't risk it. I've seen some
Yeah.
people kind of get in a bind because they had a structure fire or something, and um, the agent's like, oh well, sorry, we can only cover the stuff that was non-business related. So
Oh yeah, I am underinsured out here for sure. I mean, we've got it bumped up because but they'll only let you go so far with it. So I'm underinsured, but as far as like fire and stuff like that goes, but that's just a lot of the stuff is just a question of you know do you want to spend that money every month, or if something happens, just bite the bullet. So
yeah, interestingly
because
enough, last time I talked to my agent, all my stuff was insured, but my structure was underinsured. So
yeah,
because
well, I've got a
today's replacement rates are a lot higher than when I built it.
yeah, well, I've got tractor, lawnmower, or ATV, all that. So I mean that pretty much gobbles up whatever contents you have.
Mm.
But anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna wrap it up. Unless y'all have questions, comments, or concerns there.
Well, that kind of just tie
Uh,
in the last little bit. Jim was asking about doing his first show, best way to
yeah,
take money, and yeah, for me, course, I'll accept cash. If you don't have it set up, Venmo and or PayPal or both are fairly easy to set up, and a lot of people use it. It can make the difference between a sale or not. And then when you do that, um, you can, if you have PayPal and you want to flip your account into a business account, it's very easy to accept credit cards. Otherwise, you can get a Square reader as well. Generally, it doesn't take much to get those set up. I think maybe $30-$40 for the reader and such, and then just an app on your smartphone. But definitely having um, the option to take cards can make the difference between making some extra sales and not. So
yeah, I have Square, and I think it was like $45 for the reader, and I also have the point of sale through QuickBooks, which is handy because there again everything automatically goes into QuickBooks, and they direct deposit the money into your account. There is a fee, but you know, it makes it to where I can take tap, swipe, chip, whatever kind of cards. I can take PayPal, whatever to that pay account. So that's included with my QuickBooks. So,
yep.
but anyway, all right, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you. If you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button on both sides of the house, mine and Steve. Uh, and also go check our Facebook pages out. We're trying to grow those and get the word out on Facebook. So if you haven't already, like I said, Vintage Workshop and the Clack Shack, both Facebook and YouTube, and just hit that thumbs up or like or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah, no, appreciate all the interactions across the various social mediums and such. And it's been a fun weekend. A lot of us have tomorrow off, so hopefully you guys can get out and do something in your workshop. If it's tolerable up here, the weather is hopefully going to cool off, but that's going to be Tuesday. But I'm going to be trying to be out in my workshop tomorrow, do some more stuff. Hey, fall is here, nicer weather, lots of shows. So we'll all be hiding, at least up here in our winter. So I'm going to try to enjoy the next 6 to 8 weeks while I can.
Well, it's just now starting to cool off. We've been having nights in the 70s, which has been nice. So I'm going to find out pretty soon if the heat works out here. So, time for bed, guys. I'm getting old. Y'all be good. Stay safe.